We are live. Hello. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Stevie. Hi, Nancy. Definitely might have some other people joining us today because I'm cleaning up my email list. I'm going to get people on the list that only want to receive class links so that I can send class links and not send to my entire list 4 days a week and some correspondence. So there might be, hi, Michael, nice to have you here. So if anybody would like to share anything in particular that's going on, like body parts that you're focusing on healing, that would be good for me to know. And I know some of you that are here. I know some of the issues. Oh, thanks, Stevie. Yeah, we have been updating a lot of things. So that's my new look on my website. Those are my colors. It's crazy, all of this stuff that you have to do and think about. And it's just like, oh my goodness. What are your colors and what fonts are you using? And it's been such a journey for 2 years because it's almost 2 years ago that I went this version of virtual versus in person. So very interesting. But yeah, all right. So I know that some of you have knee issues and back issues here. And so I definitely want to make that a part of what I do today. Because we all need a healthy back. And so that's what I'm going to focus on unless you direct me otherwise. So speak now or forever hold your peace. And I'll wait. All right. So I'm going to go back here and I cannot see when I'm back there. Ooh, let me turn off my notifications so I don't get bothered. Perfect. All right. So let's do it. Come back here. I'm going to come back here. Yesterday in class, oh, I don't need this. Yesterday in class, I was walking, talking about how walking on your legs, on your shins, because it's all this is all ways to kind of repattern, retrain the body and taking the joints of the ankles and the feet out, especially if ankles and feet are something you have an issue with, and then maybe even doing that on blankets. Like I think if I were going to do walking and if I had knees that bothered me, my knees don't love that, to be honest, I probably would put a blanket out or something and then walk on it. And all of these are ways to retrain or to maintain our body. So that's my goal. Always focusing. I mean, I really honestly do this daily. Daily, I am so in my body with the way that I move, so that I don't break down. And maybe that's probably, and I just realized that now, that really is probably my real big focus, is to remaining functional and strong forever. And it's only because I lost it that I understand how important it is, and I understand that it can happen. And what I find is that for most people, the realization of what can happen doesn't show up until you're 60, 70, 80. And when you get to a place where there's a lot of breakdown, and sometimes for people later in life will think, what's the use? And so I hear from people all the time that really have lost a lot of function in their body. And I'm going to say have given up or actually don't know that there's something else. So what's really important is we remain functional forever, whatever range of motion that is. Okay, so for today's practice, please get a block and a strap. Always great to have. I am going to begin today's practice with 2 blankets. So if you could get 2 blankets, that would be great. And we're going to put our body in a really nice supported position. And I'm going to say, for those that struggle with back issues, you don't always have to focus on this part of your body. This is not always where the mind needs to go, because it could be what's happening up above or what's happening below that's actually having an effect on the low back. So for today's practice, we're going to begin with a supported posture that will actually help to bring a little bit of a back bend, so a little bit of a supported back bend into your body. And that's important because if you're having low back issues, it may be because your head and your body is in a rounded shape. And so this first posture we're going to do, I think that when I learned it, I think that she called this babbling brook, because it's this kind of a shape that you bring into your body. So you're going to take 2 blankets or 2 towels, whatever it is you have, 2 blankets, 2 towels, the normal fold. So this would be a normal fold for a blanket, and that'll go up top of your mat. And then the other one, take lengthwise and either fold it in thirds or fourths, depending on what you have going on posturally up here. So if you have a lot of roundness in your upper body, you want to go a little bit less. And if you have pretty good posture and your spine's in its natural curves, then you can go a little more. So I think I'll do 4 folds because I have pretty good posture. I don't have a lot of roundness in my upper spine because I work on it daily to not have it. And that's part of my thing, is do stuff every day, all day, so that you're always working towards keeping your body strong. Now, if you have osteoporosis, you want to make sure that you don't compress the front of the spine. So this is also a really good thing for those with osteoporosis or spinal wedge fractures, or keeping your spine healthy. So I think we all want to do that, right? So if you do have osteoporosis though, coming down like this, and I'm going to even say for all of us, coming down like this so that the blanket is on right behind your heart, and you may need to move yourself into a position where that occurs. And the blanket that is supporting your head, you want that blanket to be appropriate. You want to find Goldilocks. You want to find Goldilocks in everything you do, whether it's gardening, cooking, whatever it is. So let's practice the awareness here on the mat so that you actually take that off the mat into your life. So with that awareness, what you want is the center of your head to be supported. You want the tip of your nose pointing directly up towards the ceiling or the sky and not back towards the wall behind you. So get your head in the position comfortably, Goldilocks position, so that you find that nice comfortable position. And then behind your heart, not higher and not lower. Don't put this in the low back. This is behind the heart, because that's the least flexible part of your spine, thoracic 5, 6, 7, which is right behind the heart. That's the least bendable part of the spine. And so that's why this accumulation of pressure in the upper back and neck occurs, or the accumulation of pressure and then pain in that lower back area. So let's have the heart on the blanket. Keep your knees bent and keep your feet flat. Finding what is manageable and doable for you in your body. Not what you can't do, but what can you do? And then let your arms go out to the side. So this is a postural correction. This is taking yesterday out of your body, or this morning. The arms out to the side. That's going to stretch the chest, the shoulders, tissues on the arm, so muscles, fascia, connective tissue, and even blood and nerves, blood vessels and nerves. And there was actually a study done in 2020 that when we stretch it was done on the hamstrings, the back of the legs. And it showed that stretching the muscles actually also stretches the blood vessels. So also lymphatic vessels. And then the nerves are a part of that as well. So everything is connected. Take your arms out to the side and then find what's appropriate for you here. Find that appropriate stretch. And close your eyes. And from here, you're going to begin to relax. Maybe easier said than done. So let's explore a little bit there. Take the pressure that's in the buttock area, center of the spine, and push it towards the floor. So feel yourself activating. This is your sacrum, the base of your spine. Really push it towards the floor. And that'll actually help to release some tension in the low back. Couple of breaths, press your belly button towards your spine, protecting your lower lumbar spine. Eyes are closed. Turning on the inside or the inner eyeballs. And then bring your awareness to your chest. As you breathe, letting the breath help to stretch your spine, move your spine, or try to, the parts that are not being rested on by your body. And then notice when you're here, where do you feel the stretch? If you can, bend your elbows and lift your arms a little higher to experience a deeper stretch. Try that. Tip of the nose is pointing straight up towards the sky. Keep your mouth closed, breathing in through your nose. Notice if this is a challenge to slow down your body, to slow down your mind. Bringing your awareness to your breath that's in your chest. As you breathe in, feel stretch, deepen the stretch. And then direct your breath. As you breathe in the next breath, breathe in and breathe to your right lung, to the right side of your body. If any of you have scoliosis, the side of your body that the curve is in, if it's a thoracic scoliosis in the upper body, this will be very therapeutic for whatever side your curve is on. Because with scoliosis, we contract on one side and we don't allow for full expansion, sometimes in the upper chest area. So good for all of us to bring the breath in the lungs fully, and therapeutic for those that have scoliosis. And we're breathing into the right side. So if you have scoliosis on the right side, I say this because I have functional scoliosis from my hip replacement. So breathing to one side, if you need to bring a visual in, you could visualize a line, a red line or a green line coming in your nose, going down the center, and then branching off only to the right side, breathing into the right lung, up towards the armpit, and down towards the right hip. See if you're able to separate out the direction of the breath.
Let's do the same thing on the other side. Breathing into the left lobe. See if when you breathe deep, you feel that in your armpit. If your low back is not happy, push the sacrum or push the pelvis towards the ground to help support that lower lumbar curve. To the left lobe. Start to breathe towards the left armpit. And then down to the left hip joint. Bring your awareness to both lobes, shaped like a butterfly. Breath comes down the center, branches off to the right, branches off to the left. And the way you hold yourself all day has an effect on your skeleton, on your alignment in your joints. And that's going to have an effect on the space at which the lungs have to expand when you breathe in, which is going to affect the perfusion, which is the correct term of oxygen coming in your body, in your lungs. So let's see if we can maximize where oxygen is brought into your body. And then let's see if we can maximize the exhale, which is carbon dioxide, which helps to manage your toxic load and helps with detoxification. Number 1 and 2 pathways for detoxification that the body uses are lungs and kidneys. So really opening up your chest. Breathing in and out through your nose only. Pressing your sacrum or your pelvis towards the ground to help manage tension that may be experienced with this supported back bend in the low back or even in the neck. And then for these last few breaths, try to press the sacrum or the tailbone down towards the ground, and then press the back of the head towards the ground, and see what that does to where you feel the stretch in your body. And go ahead and take your last breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers. If you'd like to come into a fully extended body position, if that's okay for you, you could straighten your arms and straighten your legs and reach really long in your body, stretching. Or if the shoulders are not happy overhead, you could take your arms out to the side. And because we have the prop behind our chest area, this is a different way of stretching than it would be if we were lying down on the ground. So you may experience something different. We have either 600 plus muscles in the body. We have connective tissue that wraps them all together, wraps each one individually and then all together. So really stretching yourself all over, really important. Let's go ahead and bend our knees. Take your legs wide. Take your hands behind your head. So I'm assuming here that you don't have too crazy of a roll up behind your chest. And if you do, go ahead and fold a blanket or put a block behind your head. Take your hands behind your head, clasping your hands behind your head like this. That'll help to support the neck and raise the head. Take the legs a little wide here. And let's see, keeping the feet on the floor, if you could allow the knees to go side to side, but keep the soles of the feet on the floor. Don't let your feet rock up. So I want you to be in your hips here, keeping the tushy on the ground. Do not let the tushy cheeks come away from the ground. If they do, then you're in rotation in your lower back, and you need to manage that. So if you have enough body awareness, you can do that. But let's start out developing a lot of body awareness so that we learn what's appropriate when we throw our bag of bones around all day long. Go ahead and take your legs a little wider, maybe off the mat. And see if you could let your legs go. They'll go a little farther now, keeping the soles of the feet on the ground, feeling the front body stretch, feeling the hip joint stretch, and make sure that it feels appropriate. So be in your body here, feeling, noticing. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's walk the feet closer to the body, walk the feet closer to each other, and then roll yourself onto your side. Let this settle for a little while. Let your spine go to this position. Then take your hand on the floor in front of you, and we're going to lead with our shoulder, not our head. So you're actually going to push yourself up. You're not going to pull yourself up with your head. You're going to push yourself up. So I train with my teacher in India, and his father was a Western medicine physician, and he's also a physician. And the breath that we did now with one side of the lung and then the other, I learned so many breathing techniques from them because the father was saying that many people breathe incorrectly. And part of that is because of posturally the way we're standing and the limitation for expansion of the lungs, but it's also because we don't realize, we're not aware, or there are certain patterns of breath in our body. So focusing on your breath, and in that position there, I know for myself what I experience is I really feel deep stretching in the armpit area, and I feel expansion of my lungs, upper part of my lungs, when I really focus on that. And this part of your body has a lot of nerves, a lot of lymphatic vessels. And breath is a major component of detoxification. And heavy metal toxicity and being toxic, it really wreaks havoc on your health in many, many areas. And for me, in the world that I work in, especially in the bone health space, there's a lot of aspects of bones managing, or minerals managing toxicity, and taking the minerals out of the bones to manage toxicity. So using exhales, using breath, and using as much as you can. So this supported posture that we began in today is a really good tool to add to your toolbox, hopefully daily or very often, to do this for your body. Okay, so that is that. We are finished with that. Would always love to hear feedback. Of course, not now because that's not possible, but at some point, if you have any questions about anything or you want more information, please reach out to me. I cannot say how valuable what we just did is. And then if you are somebody that your mind is so active that to put yourself on the ground like that is really hard, maybe you need to burn off some energy first. So let me just show you how to do that since I brought that up. And let's come with our blanket on our mat here. So burning some energy off would be to do a little bit of a flowing practice. And when you move through your joints, especially if you're aging, so if you're over 50 or out of your 50s, you want to be careful when you move through your joints because there might be wear and tear, there might be some tightness or some dysfunction that is set into your body. So you want to be really careful when you do move through your joints, especially if you have issues in your tissues.
Take your arms, actually, let's crawl a little bit for a second. So crawling is a way to deeply set all the joints. So let's begin our practice with deep set joints or realignment in our joints. Keep your head up, don't let your head go down. And if you lift your head up and really look far in front of you, you're actually going to start strengthening the upper back and neck area as well. And you may notice that. You may notice that tension that comes into your upper back and neck. My same teacher that taught me about breath is the same teacher that taught me that almost every single joint in the body is realigned when we crawl, even little joints that are in our ears. And the ears are a big part of balance. So I'm going to say, let's come up here, I'm going to say that crawling is actually very beneficial for balance and for fall prevention. And maybe you're noticing that your neck and your upper back is a little sore, because to hold this heavy head up on top of our body takes a lot of muscular strength in the upper back and neck. And that's also going to be supportive of low back health. So these are a lot of little things to bring into your life often. Go back to being babies with that nice supple skin, unblemished. All right, let's do a little flow here of puppy dog to cow. So you take your hands wide and forward, pointer fingers are forward. As we move ourselves back, we're bending the hip joint, not so much the knee, but really the hip joint, keeping the spine long. And if you have osteoporosis, you do not want to round your spine. This is a forward bend, bending properly at the hip joint and not at the spine. Make sure your chest is open, your heart is open. You bring your forehead towards the ground. And then when you inhale, you unbend your hip joint, you come up, coming into an extension position. So make a space in your back, push your heart forward, bend your spine in this back bend position. Exhale to come back, bending the hip joint, keep the spine nice and long, head is up, don't let your head hang. Inhale forward into your extension or your cow. Exhale back into puppy dog, bending at the hip joint, feel the stretch in the glutes, the tushy. Feel the under armpit stretch when you come down. Inhale. Exhale, last one. And inhale up. You could come all the way up to take a break for a second. Now this next one I'm going to do, maybe not for all of you, so you could watch it first and then see, and then it may be appropriate for some of you. So let's take the hands not quite as far away. You could be wide here, so be wide in your stance with your hands. Pointer fingers are forward and really spread your fingers like crazy. Push your fingers into the ground and then widen your knee base. Flip your toes under. You're going to take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, push yourself back, bending your hip joint. And then if you'd like, you can lift your knees up off the floor and then bring yourself down. Exhale to rise. Inhale down. Keep your head up. Don't let your head flop. Exhale to rise. Inhale down. One more. We're going to hold it. Not for all of you, I know, but for some. And then when you're here, you could stretch your calf. Now, the big thing here, if you have osteoporosis, is that the bending in your body is happening at the hip joint, not at the spine. The heart is open. The chest is open. Push both heels down. Stretch the heck out of your calves. And then bring yourself down. So the times you find that your mind is very active, go, 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 that's when doing some of those flowing practices. And the slower you go, the harder it is. And potentially the more safe you'll stay in your joints functionally. All right, so let's go down onto the ground. Take your blanket at the top of your mat. We're going to need a block and a strap for this part of the practice, so make sure you have the block and the strap handy. And then coming to the side, especially if you have osteoporosis, reaching your arm away and coming all the way down onto the ground. Put the blanket behind the head and neck. And then this is actually one of my favorite positions to find myself in when I'm on the ground. This could also be done on a bed, so maybe even first thing in the morning to waken up the body.
So the arms are out to the side, and if the shoulders will let you, if you don't have shoulder issues, you bend the elbows, palms are up towards the sky. Take the feet onto the mat and just lift them up and down for a second so you're pretty neutral in your foot position. Good idea to have the soles of the feet touching the floor if you can, because it's a good communication in the body. And then, of course, if feet are cold or anything like that, you do whatever's appropriate. Feet are on the ground. Let's inhale, letting the knees go to the side. Exhale, belly button to spine. Inhale, knees to the side, belly button to spine. So warming up at first, soles of the feet are on the ground. And then starting to go a little bigger if you can, letting the soles of the feet come off the ground, rocking towards the edges of your pinky toe or big toe. And just notice what you feel here. Try to keep your body pretty linear. So don't start letting, it's not about trying to push your legs to the floor. We're not doing that. Don't let your tushy come away from the floor too much or it goes into your low back. So just even knowing that is a valuable thing to know. Come back to center, take your feet wide and off the mat, all the way off. And then start to go side to side. You could let the soles of the feet come off the ground, or if you're doing something more gentle, keep the soles on the ground and isolate this in the hip capsule, not allowing it to travel up to the low back. You could let your head go the opposite direction of your legs. So getting a little cervical spine rotation, going gentle to allow it to come into your body. If you close your eyes, you could go to a place of feeling and noticing what's appropriate. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the feet wider and farther away from you. So it's going to be a different kind of stretch. It's a little bit more intense in the hip joint, in the front hip joint. So I'm going to say the hip flexor here. So I'm going to say for those that have an anterior hip replacement. So if you have a line in the front of your body from a hip replacement, just notice, because this is the area, the muscles of the body. My hip replacement's in the back, but my first surgery to repair my hip was in the front. And the hip flexor area was a very precarious area for me for a few years. So be aware here, these are hip flexors, the muscles that mobilize this hip. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's draw the feet back together, draw the knees into the chest. Coming into the knees into the chest is a nice way to kind of recalibrate everything. And it's comfortable for the majority of the people. Some people going into this flexion may be uncomfortable if you have some slipped discs or disc issues. So do whatever moves are appropriate for you. Let's hold on to the knees, draw the knees in, separate the knees from each other. Feel that deep stretch in the inner thighs. Push the knees away from you and then draw the legs towards you. Knees in, knees out, push the knees away, draw the knees together. Knees in, out, away, together. And turn this into a circle and try to make it be as big as possible. You're holding on to your kneecaps on the top. So your fingers are pressing into your skin to really have a nice firm hold. Feel that inner thigh stretch. And then let's go in the opposite direction. Knees start in the center, push them away, push them apart from each other, draw them up to your armpits, and then together. Away, apart, armpits, together. Away, apart, armpits, together. And then turn that into a circle. You'll also feel your pelvis rocking here, forward and backwards. So notice what happens in the low back area for those of you that have low back issues. And then bring your knees back up. Let's take our feet onto the ground. So we're going to come up into the low back area, do a little stretching there, do a twist. So you're going to pay attention here to how you're feeling. Now, I will say with twists, I'm going to preface this by some things. The majority of twisting happens right here where the low back and the middle back meet, the thoracolumbar joint, right kind of by the belly button. It's stretching from where the lower ribs are to the top of the pelvis and then even some muscles in the pelvis. So just notice where you're experiencing this, and I'll give you some cues on how to keep yourself safe. You may need a blanket, a pillow, or a block to help support the weight of your body. Your head is supported, and even the more support, the better for some of you. You're going to walk your feet closer to your body, push your legs into the floor, move your pelvis off to the left. So pick your pelvis up, the ribs stay where they are, the tushy is off the ground, and then you push your whole body, the lower body, over, and then you place it down in the ground. Then you draw the right leg up, the left leg. Take your arms out to the side, and you keep your knees high. That's a really important thing. Don't have your knees away from you because that's going to do more low back. Keep your knees high, and then slowly let your legs go to the side, to the right, and then maybe you need to put a block, a blanket, or a pillow underneath both legs. Maybe you need to put it in between both legs, or maybe you could come into the twist without anything. Try to keep the left shoulder blade on the ground. Try to keep the heart facing up towards the ceiling, and stretching whatever feels appropriate for you. It's different for each. Twists are very individual, I've found. Take your right hand and hold on to your left leg if you'd like. So these are all things to explore doing, and then you're going to find your own Goldilocks, what's just right for you. Bring your awareness to your whole top left leg and push your left leg away from you, right where it attaches, right by that hip joint. Push that away from you, and you'll feel a deepening in the stretch, maybe in the back or maybe in the side of the leg. And only do what's appropriate. So feel your way into an appropriate twist. Let your head turn to the left. And then push your belly button back towards your spine to help support the lumbar spine. Feel that stretch from lower ribs to the top of the pelvis, maybe down the side of the leg. Be in your body. Nice long left waist. And then if you'd like, you could explore taking that top leg to the left leg and lengthening the left leg long if it's appropriate. So you don't have to do these things. They're just ways to experience different aspects of the stretch. You could also take the left arm and reach the left arm long away from you. You could even support your left leg on a bolster, a block, or a blanket. Exploring a stretch wherever you can experience it that feels appropriate. Posterior hip replacements, be careful. Or be in your body to feel what feels appropriate. Breathe down to your belly. This also is a part of something that can help with detoxification or with immunity as we twist our abdominal area, compressing the organs, moving things back into the system or moving things in the system, like lymphatic fluids. Take one more breath. And then to come out, bend your leg. Draw one leg at a time. So draw the left leg up and towards your chest. Let your body roll onto your back. Draw the other leg up and then put both feet onto the ground. Lift your pelvis up off the ground. Put your pelvis back into a neutral position. Close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths here. If you'd like to put your hands on your belly. Notice how you feel. Notice how the left side of the body feels. Notice how the right side of the body feels. Knees are bent, feet are flat. We're going to stretch the left. We just stretched the left. We're going to stretch the left deeply here, the psoas, and actually bring in the upper part of the torso. So I would say that for low back release and low back health, that twist and the sticks move could be really good. And you have to pay attention to your body to see if it is appropriate for you, because not everything is good for every person. You have to experience what feels appropriate for you. So let's take the left leg long. Lift the left leg up, flex the foot, and lengthen the leg as you lower it to the ground. And then left arm is beside your body. The palm is facing in, the thumb is up towards the sky. Take an exhale. Active left leg. Reach the left leg away from you. As you inhale, reach the left arm. Slide the left leg away from you. Reach the left arm overhead. Let the thumb touch the floor and reach the left arm far away. Reach the left legs far away, stretching the whole left side of your body. And then you exhale to come back. Soften and release all of that stretch in your body. As you inhale, you lengthen your left leg away. Lengthen left arm overhead. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then one more like that. Inhale, lengthen that whole left side. Stay here. Soften on the exhale. Let all of this stretch go. And now on the inhale, reactivate the stretch. Reaching the left heel away from you and left fingers away from you. And then exhale to come back. Bending your knees, hands on your belly, eyes are closed. Go inside your body. Go to your left side. What do you feel in your left hip, your left leg, your left belly, your left lower back? And now compare that to the right side. See if you feel a difference in the right side body versus the left. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And let's go to the other side. So I'm definitely feeling pretty mellow right now. I'd like you to check in with how you're feeling. And I would say that going slower in the practice like this actually is very soothing for the nervous system. And when we relax the nervous system, we relax the cardiovascular system. We relax the breaking down aspect of stress hormones in the body. We allow the body to be in a place of healing and repairing and restoring, which is what we all want and we all need. Let's walk the feet closer to the body. Pick the body off the floor and push your body over to the right. So the tushy is moving over to the right, but the ribs are staying on the ground. And then put your body down on the ground. Have your block or your blanket or your pillow handy for this left side for support if you need it. Draw the left leg up and then the right leg up. Keep your knees pretty high towards your chest. Don't let your legs be away from you. So keep them high towards your chest. And then right arm out to the side. Let the knees move towards the left. Maybe you need something underneath your legs. Maybe in between your legs. Maybe nothing. Do what's appropriate for you. And then let the left hand come on top of the right leg if you can. Keeping the right shoulder blade on the ground. So the goal is to keep the right shoulder blade on the ground. So support the lower body in whatever way you need, depending on many factors. Your joint mobility, your flexibility in your tissues, flexibility in your joints. Not one is better than the other, but one is better than the other for your body. Let your head go to the right, holding on to that right leg if you'd like. Bring your awareness to your right hip joint and push the top right leg away from you to create more space in your lower back. And breathe down to your belly. Deep breaths down to your belly. Keep your awareness here in your body. If you'd like, take your arm and reach your right arm away to really lengthen the right side. Pushing the right top leg and hip joint away from you. And notice, do you feel the stretch in the posterior hip capsule? Do you feel it in the back area? Where do you feel it? And I would say that if the low back is having trouble because you're doing a little bit too much rotation, push your right tushy cheek towards the floor. Push your right leg away from you and see if you could bring tension that may be in the low back down into the pelvis and into the hip. Then also, if you push your heart up towards the sky, that may also help lengthen the spine. Now, if you'd like to lengthen the top leg, you lengthen your leg away from you. It's going to bring the stretch into a different area, may bring it a little lower, may bring it into the back of the leg. Depends on so many factors. You may need to support that leg with a block, a blanket, or a bolster. Last few breaths. When you come out of this, you're going to bend the top knee. Draw the top knee towards your chest and up. You're going to start to roll back onto your back, and then you can bring the other leg up and roll onto your back. Keep your knees into your chest. And go ahead and put your feet on the floor. Put your hands on your belly, close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your right side and notice what you notice. Let's go into now stretching the psoas, the upper parts of the body, and this entire right side. Legs are bent. Let's take the right leg, lift the right leg up, and then flex the foot and lengthen that right leg as you lower the right leg all the way. Take your right hand alongside your body, palm faces in, thumb is up. Take an exhale to prepare. Inhale, lengthen. Slide the right leg away from you. Reach the right arm up and over and reach the right arm as far away from you as you can. Stretch that right side body. Exhale, soften everything as you bring your right hand back. Inhale to activate. Exhale to soften. Last one, inhale to activate. Stay here. Soften on the exhale. Inhale to activate and lengthen. And exhale to come back. Bending your knees. Put your hands on your belly. Feel both sides of your body. Feel the right side. Feel the left side. Notice what you notice. Now let's do a little bridge to structurally get ourselves back into a aligned position. We did one side, then we did the other. We did asymmetrical work. It could be really nice for low back discomfort. And if you have one side of your body that either is tighter or gives you more issues, separating out your moves and stretching one side at a time can be really nice. So let's realign our body here. Take your block, bring your block between your legs, and walk your feet as close as you can get them to the body. Take the blanket away from the back of the head. We're going to be doing a little bridge work. Pick your head up, tuck your chin towards your chest. Bring your arms alongside your body, and then slide the shoulder blades towards the spine. So you may lift yourself up and slide the shoulder blade closer to the spine on both sides. You get more narrow across the top here. And then chin is towards the chest. Feet are the block distance. Squeeze the block. Let's do a little bit of squeezing here. Squeeze the block strongly so you feel the inner thighs turning on, and you may even feel some of that translating up your spine towards the belly button. And then squeeze the block. Press the low back to the floor. So flatten your low back to the floor. And now squeeze your tushy cheeks. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze the block. Press your feet into the floor. Press your arms into the floor, either bent elbows or straight arms. Take an exhale and inhale. Push your arms, push your feet, squeeze your tushy, squeeze your block. Lift your spine, close your eyes. Feel the spine peeling up and away. And then slowly, one vertebra at a time, down onto the ground. Inhale, squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, push the arms, push the feet, lift, 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 peel your spine up and away. Exhale, one vertebra at a time to come back down. Really undulate your spine here. Inhale, push your hands into the ground, push your feet into the ground, squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block, peel, peel, peel. Inhale, push your feet into the floor. Squeeze, 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 block, tushy. Push away. One more. Squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block, push your hands, push your feet. Close your eyes and peel your spine up. See if you could peel the spine away from the ground, all the way up past your heart. Chin is towards the chest. The pressure is in the upper back area, not in the head and neck. And take 3 deep breaths here. Squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block, push away from the ground with the arms and the feet. On your last breath, place your spine one vertebra at a time. Eyes are closed. Feel your spine coming to the ground. When you get to the low ribs, lift the heels off. Be on the tippy toes. And try to put the low back on the floor first. Posterior pelvic tilt, lengthening and stretching the low back. For those of you with low back, try that. Try to lift your body up and then posteriorly tilt your pelvis to lengthen the back of the body. Putting the pelvis back down on the ground. Reach up to get your blanket. Bring your blanket back behind your head. Take your block out to the side and draw your knees into your chest. Rocking side to side. Always checking in with how you're feeling. So these are traditional postures that have an intention of a body part that they're stretching or increasing the range of motion as we age. So let's say, 40s and beyond, as we age, preservation of our package that we live in becomes really important. And then especially if you've developed issues in your tissues and you know that. So this is all really great postures to actually maintain our body, to heal our body, and to keep it nice and strong forever. And this can also be done in the bed. So if you don't do it on the floor, you could do this on the bed, finding what you can do and not focusing on what you can't do. Take your block. Let's bring the block back between the legs, staying with this nice structural support. We're going to go into core, strengthening our core for posture, alignment, and balance. Take your hands behind your head, clasp your hands behind your head. Elbows are out to the side. And then you're going to squeeze the block. The feet are on the ground. Try to point your toes forward and try to have your toes or your feet be block distance. And you don't have to look. I want you to feel your way into this, because whatever happens to the hip and the knee joint and the ankle and the feet is really important for healthy aging. So really working on the structural alignment in your joints. And we're going to use the core here. So squeezing the block, find the feet, toes are pointing forward, feet are block distance, feel your way into it. Take an exhale and then an inhale. Squeeze the block, flatten the low back, and exhale to lift yourself up off the floor. Keep the elbows out to the side. Inhale to lower. Exhale, squeeze the block, flatten the low back, elbows to the side, tip of the nose point straight up towards the sky. Exhale to lower. Not about how high you get off the floor. How effective and strong are you making your spine in a nice supported way? Come up and stay up for a breath. And then lower. 2 more like that. Exhale to rise. Stay here. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block, flatten the low back. Inhale to lower. 1 more. Exhale to rise. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block. Inhale to lower. Keep your arms behind your head. Take an exhale. Take an inhale. Press the right elbow into the ground. Exhale, lift up with your left elbow. Point your left elbow over towards the right. Inhale to lower. Exhale, press the left elbow, lift the right elbow up, over towards the left. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale, rise. Try to keep your throat open, your face open. The goal is not how high up can you get. The goal is how effectively can you engage your core and rotate your trunk. If you have osteoporosis, being careful not to close off the front of the spine is always a goal. Squeeze the block, that'll help with the stabilizers of the spine. Go slow. It's harder, it's more advanced. Keep your throat open. No rounding in the spine. One more to each side. Slow and steady wins the race. And then bring yourself back to center. So I'm going to say that the title of today's practice is Slow and Steady Wins the Race. So be okay with slowing down. So let's do some core work that actually also activates the brain. And the brain has to be a part of this because it's diagonal patterning. So there's a lot of neurons in your brain that are going to fire up with this. Let me just show you this at first because it could be tricky. So we start in a tabletop position and we do opposite hand, opposite leg. So I'm going to take one hand back and the opposite leg down. And when I bring myself back up, the hand that's up there already doesn't move at all. You only move one hand and one leg at a time. Do not let the other hand move when you come back up. And that's what I notice when I'm either in person or working with people, is that this hand that's up here tries to move when you come up. So really be in your mind here. We're doing core work for our physical body, and we're doing brain yoga for our brain. And that's a part of fall prevention, because we need that cognitive aspect of being aware so that we don't trip or slip or do things we shouldn't be doing. All right, so first of all, I want you to bring your legs up like this, and then I want you to see if tabletop position is comfortable for you. Closer the knees are to the chest, easier it is for low back. Right above the pelvis, more challenging for those of you that have a strong core and can stabilize your lower trunk without compromising the low back. So do what's appropriate for you. Harder is right above your hips. You may need to have your knees in, so do what's appropriate. Hands are up towards the sky. Flex your feet maybe to be a little bit active here as well. And then we're going to take an exhale. Then you're going to inhale, let your left hand go back, your right foot touches the ground or comes away from your body. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, right hand, left leg. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, left hand, right leg. Back to center. Farther away from the body, your legs go, more intense it is if that's in your practice, if that's okay for your body. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale back. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale back. Keep your opposite limbs stationary while you move. And notice your tendencies. One more on each side. And bring yourself back to center. Draw the knees in. Let's go ahead and grab the strap. So a little relief here. Take your strap. Put your strap on your feet. Both feet are on the strap. And then let your hands slide down. Let's take the legs wider than the body and then pull the legs towards your body. So this is this is happy baby. And this is a good way to do this because it helps to, well, first of all, keep you stable, but also give you access to the feet. Now look at your feet. Push the pinky edges in and try to push the arches of your feet towards the strap. So don't let your feet roll here. And then be as wide as you can. See if you could go a little wider, drawing your legs up pretty high. The low back is pressing into the ground. It feels nice and relieving for my low back. So make sure that it does feel okay for yours. You could do a little rock and roll side to side. And then let's bring ourselves back to center. Let's keep the right leg in the strap. Take your hand on the strap. You could keep your left leg bent, or you could straighten your left leg. And then draw the right leg back towards the wall behind you. Knee could be bent. You'll be in the belly of the muscle. And if you straighten your leg, you're going to be pulling on the pelvic bones. Stretching your muscle, and also creating a little bone stimulation of the pelvis if the knee is straight. And then bring yourself back up to center. Hold on to the strap and pull the strap one side and the other so that you're bending your ankle joint. The kneecap stays stationary. The leg is not moving. You're actually bending your foot side to side at your ankle joint. You pull on the right strap where the pinky toe edge is, and then you pull on the strap into the arch of your foot. It bends the foot a little bit more in this direction, and you'll feel that stretch on the side of the ankle, side to side. We need our ankles to be able to dance. So if you slip, trip, or fall, your feet will absorb that tension, that pressure, and not fracture the bones. And then draw the left leg up. Let's take the left foot into the strap. and then draw. You could straighten the right leg if you'd like, or keep it bent, and then take the left leg back towards the wall. Bent knee is in the belly of the hamstring. Straight leg is stretching the muscle and pulling on the bones of the pelvis and the lower leg to create bone stimulation. Bones get stronger if we ask for it every day. Pulling, pushing, and creating stress, more stress than they can handle. And the response is to lay down more tissue for you. You need that mechanical force to get stronger bones. And then go ahead, soften, come out of that. Let's bend the leg or keep it straight. Take your hands a little higher. We're going to do the ankle joint stretch side to side, side to side. Keep your kneecaps stationary. So look at your knee. Your knee should not be moving at all. And you're pulling in the arch, pulling in pinky toe edge, arch, pinky toe edge, side to side. And then go ahead and soften. Bring the strap out and away. Let's draw the knees into the chest and roll onto the side. Bring your hands onto the ground. We're going to do one power move before we come into our final rest. So let's come onto the blanket. The power move is a posture you could bring into your body every day that works on a lot of muscles at once. So we're going to do plank. That's my favorite. It's my favorite power move in a lot of ways because it strengthens so many aspects of us. So this is a plank. You could be in a modified plank if that's what you need, or you could come down onto the forearm modification or forearm dolphin. So choose the appropriate one for you. Let's take our hands onto the mat, whatever you're going to do. Take one leg back, then the other, and bring yourself up into a plank position. We're going to be here for a minute. And if you can't do a minute, that's okay. You do what you can. You build up towards it. And that's where you get to notice a lot of great progress. Push your heels back, push your feet into the floor strongly, and feel how that activates the low belly. Make sure the pinky toes are touching on both sides. Make sure your fingers are spread. Push your fingers into the floor like crazy. Notice how that really helps the wrist joint. Push the fingers in if you're looking at them. See how they get white and red. And then make sure you're still pushing your heels back, lengthening your spine. Feel your toes pressing into the ground. Feel your fingers pressing into the ground and push away from the ground. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Bring yourself up. Shake out your wrists. So we stirred up, we shook up your snow globe. Everything is all over the place. And now we're going to come back down onto the ground into the final rest, which is Shavasana, to allow the integration of everything that we just practiced to soak into our cells and integrate it into our new body that we created today in this practice. And then come down onto the ground in whatever way you're going to come down, whatever is appropriate for you. Final rest position, you could draw your knees into your chest if you'd like. Let your legs go long, or keep your knees bent, let your feet fall into each other if that feels better for your body. Hands are down alongside your body and focusing on your breath. kande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame, govinde mukande, 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 udare apare, hariyam kariyam, nimame akame. Gently begin to deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, rolling your ankles and your wrists. Bending your knees one at a time, draw one leg in at a time to your chest, onto your side. Cradle your head first, and then use your opposite hand to push away. Keep your head soft. Don't let that head reach up and try to pull you up like it may have been doing for a long time. Come into a comfortable position, eyes are closed. The last posture we just did, Shavasana, is a posture of integration. It is to let everything be absorbed that was just created during the practice. All the unblocking, all the strengthening, the lengthening, the restructuring, anything where the focus was for the practice. Letting that integrate into the new body that you created today during your practice. And every day, slowly but surely, that new body becomes your new body. Stronger, more limber, greater range of motion, and all the things we desire so that we can live a happy and healthy life. Press your hands to your chest to your hands. That'll activate the support of the upper body. We're going to close with a humming sound, like the letter M, to vibrate, to allow anything that needs to settle to settle. Let's take a big exhale to create room. Inhale.
in recognition of you, the same thing that's in me is in you, that same life force energy, spirit, soul. Namaste. All right, so Nancy, I think today's practice will be good for your back. Michael, also, I know with back, I'm speaking to the people that I know they're here, that I know, not just that you're here, but that I know you and some of your issues in your tissues. And then who else? Lynn, hopefully some of that stuff was okay. I think about you and your wrists whenever I do plank. So hopefully that was okay for you. Carolyn, oh, was I gone? Hi, Peg. Did we lose connection? Oh my gosh. Gotta love technology. Anyway, all right. Thank you for those that are here, for those that watch. I hope you feel good in your body. Good, Nancy. Slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. It really does, especially for us who are aging. If you start barreling through life and running and pushing your body and pounding your joints, there's wear and tear. And then you wake up at whatever, 70, 80, whatever. And then you have pain and discomfort. So slow and steady wins the race. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Susan. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Good, Lynn. Thanks for saying that. All right. Bye, everyone.